This film also had the creepiest Santa. And you could,
oh my god, yes! We need to find the fourth dimension, and by finding all these tiny little perfect things that happen in our neighborhood or in our town or whatever, we're gonna find the fourth dimension, and we're missing one. I'll pick Andrew Garfield. Peter 3.
Peter 3.
Ooh, that comic book filter.
This green ball?
This green tennis ball is Vecna, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. We're talking about Chippendales the dancers, right? Not
Yeah.
Chippendales the chipmunks? Okay, I was just making sure. I didn't see it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yo, I got some addresses. If you're abducting people, I have some addresses.
I have some addresses.
I have some
I have a
addresses
list.
you should consider.
Yeah.
I have a list. Yeah, right? Oh boy. Oh wow, we're already 4 minutes. Hey, Cinema Beep. Sorry,
Hey.
what's up? Hi.
We already started going.
Yeah, I know. Beams in the sky, aliens,
Yeah.
I like how you posted the multiverse collapsing.
The multiverse collapsing.
And Tom Holland. Huh? Well, what was my thought? I was just editing the podcast, and I did not have time to watch The Boston Strangler, so I'm very sad.
Oh.
But I did catch up on Mandalorian, and we watched Ted Lasso.
Woot woot. I am not
So
caught up on
excited.
Ted Lasso. I've only seen the first episode, but
Okay. I was already trying to think in my brain. I was like, there's only been 3 right now.
yes,
So.
yes.
I'm trying to even think what. All right, what happens episode 1? Nate's a little dick.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up.
He's a dick.
He's a big old dick. And Ted, just being Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Such a sweet guy. Such a sweetie. But yeah, I'm sad this is going to be the last season. But
Me too.
it's not, like, so far they're going on a strong note.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike another show I know that is... I'm just kidding.
Unlike a few shows that we know. Yep.
But, okay, so you've only seen episode 1, so I'm trying to, keep that in mind. Because, yeah, I guess all you really find in episode 1 is, you see Nate kind of interacting with the, I keep wanting to call him Manchester, but that's not the
Rupert.
team. With Rupert and his team.
Yeah, aren't they
How-
Manchester United?
Yes, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And how much of a, D-bag he is.
Yep.
Like the elevators where she's like, oh, good morning, coach. And just seeing him be so obsessed on his phone with what people think of him.
Oh, the scene where
know.
he's in his office and the one guy comes in just to be like, hey, and he's like, get out. I'm like, God, I was just so pissed at him.
Right. Well, even that, what was it? There was another one where it was his mom was texting him, being like, your dad saw you on TV. He doesn't like that you swore,
Mm-hmm.
But she's like, oh, but he'll get over it. And you can just see, he just has this, confusion, disappointment on his face because he's just having a hard time, taking any kind of feedback whatsoever.
It is hard to watch in some aspects because, yeah, you watch him do that and then immediately jumps on Twitter and he starts seeing, all the different comments, good or bad. And, if it's good, then he's all, high and mighty. And if it's bad, he's getting, that look on his face. And it's so true because, you know, everyone's guilty of it. But there are some people who really, truly can't handle it very well.
Yeah. And then, I'm sorry, that was a good sentence. I nailed it. Good sentencing. And kind of seeing him sucking up to Rupert, obviously. And then especially I don't know, just kind of seeing because we've kind of Rupert to me has always kind of been in the background. There's the odd time he's shown up, obviously in season 1, we really kind of saw him at that, that darts thing that happened in the bar in season 1.
Yeah. And the
really
auction.
Yes. And then my favorite in season 2, and he comes to the funeral and Sassy just gives him a piece of her mind. Woo! But you're seeing a lot of Rupert this season.
Yeah.
I will say. And you're seeing his very manipulative. I mean, we always kind of knew he was a manipulative piece of shit, but kind of seeing it in full force this season, And, I don't know. I was trying to make some early predictions, but I really don't know how the show is going to end, Because on one hand, I'm if this is going to be the last season, it would be nice if, Richmond could actually win.
Yeah.
That would be nice, and it kind of seems like this season Like, also, like, starting off with the Lego set, you know? Fantastic.
Right.
And his son, like, Ted's son even being like, you know, you're going to win it this year, Dad. And Ted's like, oh, you know, well, it's not all about winning. And he goes, I know, Dad, but, like, shouldn't you at least try to win? And there's, like, seems to be this, like, this big focus on, like, winning.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, again, especially because it's last season, I would like Richmond to win.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm also wondering if they're going to pull the rug from under us. I'm like, ha, they lost.
Right.
But I feel like they kind of did that well enough in season 1. So I don't know. I just kind of hope they win is my takeaway.
Right. And that's the thing I've always liked about the show was that from the get-go, they always, what's the proper word? Best way I could put it is they always stomped on my false expectations because I've watched so much other shows and content and stories to like, and you know this, you watch enough to get predictable, like you start to predict what's going to happen, and then it does, and you're like, okay, so then you kind of get numb to it, you just expect it. And I don't know, from the get-go, Ted Lasso always surprised me in ways that I thought that would be predictable, and it wasn't, and it just made it such a more wholesome, satisfying, enjoyable show, I guess, in the long run. I took more away from it, and I took more enjoyment out of it than just, you know, it being a show that I watch kind of thing.
Yeah. And I feel like they also, like, there's a certain, like, nuance to it, you know? And I feel like it's more reflective of, like, what happens in kind of, like, real life, if that makes sense. You know? So, kind of like you said, like, it's nice that it crushes your, like, expectations, because then you don't really know what to expect. But it would kind of suck at this point if they're really selling home, like, winning, and then they don't win. Yeah. Honestly, like, they don't have to win the cup. I just want them to beat Rupert. That's all I fucking care about. I want them to crush Rupert. He needs to die.
Just crush him. Yeah, that's what I'm most interested to learn, is because we've had some overarching or overall lessons being learned each season, and so I'm curious to know what the overall series, I guess, at this point, because it's the last season, and overall season or just story ending is for this season, because that's ultimately what kind of like floors everybody. I feel like Ted's speech, to me at least, Ted's speech in the first season after the darts game with Rupert, and he kind of gives that whole be curious, not judgmental.
Yeah.
That whole thing just like, spoke to me so well. I was like, yes, like that's such a great quote, and it was quoted, like the way he performed that was so well, and it's so true with like anything with anybody nowadays. And so I felt like that was kind of like such a big lesson, along with other things in that in the first season and going on forward. So, and yeah, like I said, like even the second season with him kind of having to learn that, hey, it's okay to take care of yourself, it's okay, therapy's okay, like you don't have to run and hide from it, don't run and hide from your feelings. Like all these things are such really profound, deep lessons that some people need to know, right? And it's nice that they're able to kind of teach them, or at least speak about them in such a way that resonates with people.
Right. Yeah. Such a beautiful, and just on top of it all, a funny show.
Yeah, exactly.
A funny show to boot.
Genuinely funny.
To boot.
To boot, yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, as much as Nate's also being like the biggest dickhole on the world, biggest dickhole in the world, I really do hope like him and Ted maybe reconcile, or maybe, you know, like he sees the errors of his ways.
Yeah.
Because again, he's not a bad, I mean, he's kind of a bad person right now, but like, I remember like, you know, him as like, you know, the underdog. Yeah. And now he's just like being such a...
He thinks he's better than everybody, and he's above everybody now. Yeah. And
is so obsessed with like self-image. So I do hope that he, you know, at the same time though, I do kind of hope, I don't want to spoil anything in the next couple episodes for you, but I do hope he sees that, like, because you kind of see at least in the first episode, he's obviously kissing ass to Rupert, but I hope at some point he understands that he's only being, like, once he is no longer useful to Rupert will not give a shit about him, and he will like leave him in the dust.
Exactly.
So like on one hand, I would like him to have like this moment where maybe he stands up for himself against Rupert and realizes like he's being a D-bag. But at the same time, I almost want him to get his what's it called? Comeuppance? I want him to get his comeuppance. Comeuppance is the new word
just
for that.
desserts.
Yeah, and then gets a little bit of humble pie. Because I think at that point, I think that's what needs to happen for him. He needs to get a little bit of a humble pie.
Needs to be humbled, yep.
And realize that, like, oh, the reason why Richmond and everyone loves Richmond, or what matter if they're losing, is that they're full of good people.
Mm-hmm. It's not about how they look. It's about how they treat each other, how they act, what they do in the community, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, yeah.
Right? And it's not, just about winning.
Exactly.
But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if Shelley, or no. No, I'm thinking of the other guy. His name's Shelley. Oh my God, what is... I just hope, that Nate, finds his way at some point. Like, yeah. And again, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the series is going to end, but I won't lie to say that I'm hoping and leaning towards Richmond winning the cup.
Yes, definitely.
But time will tell. What was my thought?
Yes.
Do you know how many episodes are coming out this year?
I was literally just going to ask you that question.
Okay.
IMDb.
I want to say like relatively blind, but it's very hard when my parents are like, how many episodes are out? Is a new episode out? And I'm like, why am I the IMDb source? Like, look it up on your own phones, people.
Right? According to IMDb, there will be 12 episodes.
Okay.
With the final episode airing May 31st.
Ooh.
But again, take that with a grain of salt because this is IMDb that we're using for reference.
And IMDb has lied to me all the time. Okay, I'm definitely getting a sunburn today. Like, what the hell? Like, what is this? I mean, I won't lie that I look pretty good, but like, why? Oh, the light. Anyway. So yeah, I was very happy this week we were able to catch up on Ted Lasso.
Nice. I will definitely be doing that this week.
Hells yeah, girl. And then like I said, we caught up on Mandalorian.
Nice.
And I was just kind of like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny to me. My dad was like, oh yeah, everyone's saying that they don't really like season 3. I'm like, okay, so you have time to look up that, but not any other information about the show that you guys bother me about? But it feels like, and maybe I'm wrong, again, maybe I'm spewing out shit out of my asshole, but it feels like they're trying to connect it with the overall Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I really liked about the show was it was just about a bounty hunter and his baby.
Yeah.
Didn't really have any, major ties. It was just, they're on an adventure.
Well, wasn't the first or second season where they did the appearance of Luke Skywalker?
The end of the second season.
Okay. See, I thought that was cool. I feel like they could have left it. I mean, I was watching in and out. I didn't know what other episodes there were, but from what I saw, I was like, that seems like a cool way to end it off. Like, why not just call it quits there? Like, why do we have to keep expanding and expanding, right?
And like I said, like Boba Fett randomly had a season 2.5 of Mandalorian. Literally, there was 2 or 3 episodes where it was like, oh, where's Boba Fett? Nowhere. It's just about the Mandalore and Grogu.
Huh.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed those episodes because I was like, oh, cool. I don't really care about Boba Fett. This is great, but this is kind of weird overall.
Yeah. Weird, yeah.
And then season 3 is just like, huh. I mean, Katie Sackhoff is in it, so like, I appreciate. I like watching.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they're trying to rebuild their tribe of Mandalorians and come back into the sun. Cool. Love it. But there was this random episode. And I mean, I don't know. It was about like a side character from season 1 that I won't lie, I forgot about him. I was like, who's this loser? Oh yeah. He was the doctor. Cool beans. And it's all about like how, because I'm going to get all these wrong, so I'm very sorry, Star Wars people. So, like, the Empire has fallen because I believe this series takes place right after the Jedi Returns or whatever. The last one in Luke's trilogy, anyway. Mm-hmm. So the Republic is, or, like, the Empire is down, so anyone they've captured, they have kind of, like, reintegrated as part of, like, the New Republic. And, so they found new jobs in this, like, new republic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it's, like, it's so culty. It's, like, unreal. So basically, they take these bad guys and then basically make them part of, like, their way of thinking, and it's basically a cult. They take away their names, so they just have numbers at this point. And so the doctor is struggling because I think he blurted it out at one point in season 1, and there was a little bit in season 2 about how he was trying to get cloning to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's friends with this other lady who, again, I totally forgot about her at all, but she was like a communications commander on one of the evil guy's ships, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so, like, she's been, like, quote unquote reformed, so they just work for the New Republic or whatever. And basically, these two strike up a friendship, even though we were all like, she's bad. She's still bad. And, like, the episode was good at highlighting to me, like, this weird cult vibe of Star Wars, which I really liked.
Mm-hmm. But
basically, so her and the doctor end up going to, like, a old, it wasn't a TIE fighter, but one of the bad guys' ships to retrieve some science gear that he would need to continue his work. They get caught, but then it turns out she was, like, tricking him all along. And I was like, okay. So because he disobeyed, they put him in, like, this medical chamber where, I don't know if you remember, did you ever watch Rogue One?
I did, yes.
You know that scene where, like, they were, like, probing that guy's brain for, like, info?
Yeah.
So they basically, like, replicated and made a machine like that, but it's to, like, basically to get rid of the bad thoughts that the doctor supposedly has, so he can still be, like, good and useful to them.
Oh.
And it was so, like, again, it was so culty and, like, so unsettling.
Yeah.
And then she's like, she turns him in, and then she goes, oh, even though he turned, like, he's a good friend and I want to stay with him. The guy's like, okay. And we're all like, that was a bad mistake. And then she turns, like, the ray gun to, like, the top thing. So basically just probably fried his brain. And now he's, like, useless.
Dang.
But it was just, again, I like the culty vibes of it, but in the end, I was like, what was the point?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm down for a good revenge girl, but, like, I just didn't see how she benefited from this because,
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it just shows, like, she's always bad. I'm like, I guess, but, like, that just seems like a lot of extra work that you didn't have to fucking do.
I guess, yeah.
And again, my brother was trying to think about it. He goes, oh, yeah, maybe it's because of da-da-da and this. And I was like, I don't want to think too much. I miss when we were just going around the galaxy having fun. Why are we going to be thinking?
Right?
So again, maybe they're trying to tie it in again with, like, the Star Wars timeline. And I'll be real honest. We joke about how, like, The Flash, has a pretty messy, like, all these shows. I mean, it'd be fair if you're on long enough, you have a messy timeline.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always thought Star Wars has had the messiest timeline I've ever seen in my life.
Definitely.
They're like, it's really simple. I'm like, is it though? Is it though?
Well, at that point, you might as well just, like, it's like learning a whole new language and culture, it seems like.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. But I think, what is it? Mandalorian's on we just watched episode 5, Pirates, which again was fun because they were just beating up pirates. So I was like, yeah, why can't the rest of the show just be like this? This is awesome. And I think Mandalorian only has 8 episodes, so there's only 3 more and it's done.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Like done?
Well, at least season 3 done.
Mm.
And then, who knows?
Who knows?
Probably a season 4, 5 other spin-offs. Who knows? It's just too much Star Wars.
Too much Star Wars. But on that note, I think that's our episode today.
I think so.
It's a little mix of everything this episode, but hopefully next week we'll kind of have some more. What's the word? More just like specific ones.
Yeah, more shit to talk about.
More shit to talk about, yeah.
And I mean, I've been meaning to go out to the movies, but I just don't think that's ever going to happen now.
Why not?
I'm going to be busy the next little week.
Oh, yes, that's
week
true.
and a half. So
you're a busy goyle, yes.
I'm a busy girl, so like I'm not going to have time, unfortunately.
That is fair.
I want to do like a double feature day because the Dungeons and Dragons movie came out, so I want to see that.
Yes, I am actually curious about that.
Right? Everyone says it's a good time, so I'm like, I'm down. They say it's a good like adventure movie, and I'm like, that's my jam.
And Chris Pine's in it, so hell yeah, I'm down.
Right? And I mean, the Mario, I know a lot of people are shitting on the Mario movie, but like, I want to see it. It looks dope. I don't care. I want to see it.
And then isn't Guardians of the Galaxy 3 going to be out soon too?
Yep, in May, so
all
one
right,
of these
there you
days
go.
I'm going to have to do like a double feature at the movies or something.
That sounds like a great idea.
All right, just be there all day. Be like, what's up, guys? I'm going to go see movies.
Right? Oh, actually, I know what I'm going to do. This week for sure, catching up on Ted Lasso, but I also am going to watch that movie that stars Cisco in it.
Yes, it's a TV series.
Oh, it's a series. Okay, I thought it was a movie. Okay. Well,
it's
there
going
you
to
go.
be great. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll try to do that too. It'll be good.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It'll be
That'll
good.
be the plan.
But yeah, thanks for watching, Cinema Peeps. We appreciate your watching. If you would like to leave us a little likesy, that'd be awesome. Or no, a deuce. If you know, you know. A little deucey. Leave a comment in the comments down below. What do you guys think of The Mandalorian this season 3? Are you guys sad Ted Lasso's ending? Leave it in those comments down below. And consider subscribing to two pretty cool gals, if I have to say so myself. But yeah, that'll be with today's podcast. Watch all the content, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Monkey. And slap.
Ooh.